We're going to turn now to the other news story that has dominated the agenda in recent weeks. Several thousand people attended an anti-abortion vigil outside Leinster House last night. The protesters said they wanted to put pressure on the government, which has promised an early response to the report of the expert group on abortion. 5 Catholic bishops attended the rally, including the Bishop of Kilmore, Dr. Leo O'Reilly, who's with us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
The official response from the Catholic bishops to that expert report will be published later today. What will you be saying?
The report will come later today. Well, first of all, about last night, there were 6 of us there, as you say. We were invited by the organisers, who are a grassroots movement. We weren't organising it, but we were very happy to be there to show support for what they're doing, because what they are trying to do is to get the attention of their public representatives about this extremely serious matter. And you're right, the bishops have considered this. It has dominated our agenda, and there will be a statement. I don't want to preempt what the statement will say, but I can say that some of the concerns that were expressed there yesterday concern, for example, the fact that 3 of the 4 proposals by the expert group include abortion, and that's not something which is acceptable in Catholic teaching, as everybody knows. A second thing is that they don't seem to have considered the whole range of options available.
OK, when you say that, the report of the expert group, it clearly came down in favour of legislation and regulation. Is it safe to assume that you were going to say to the government, ignore that?
The final statement that is produced today will clarify that. I don't want to preempt that, but our concern is...
Right, but it's probably pretty close to the mark, is it, to say that you will say to the government, listen, legislation and regulation, as suggested by this expert group, we don't want that?
Well, what's not acceptable is legislation for abortion. Abortion, we believe, is wrong. It is not a solution. It compounds the problem. And I think what people want to be reassured about is that a mother can receive life-saving treatment when that is necessary during her pregnancy.
You say what the people want, but the evidence is that the public wants legislation. The Sunday Business Post opinion poll at the weekend, it asked people if they supported legislation for the X case, allowing abortion where the mother's life is threatened, including by suicide, and 85% said yes.
I think everybody knows that the result you get in an opinion poll depends on 2 things. First of all, when the poll is done, and secondly, what way it's done. This most recent poll took place in the wake of a very understandable concern which arose from a very tragic situation where a young woman died, and with an awful lot of misunderstanding and misinformation and lack of information about why that happened. I think it's important. There are 2 reports awaited on that matter. I think it would be very important to await the outcome of that, I think, before making any decision
on
this.
Right, so you're saying you don't believe that 85% of people genuinely want that course of action?
Well, I think if it was put to people, and when it was put in a poll a couple of weeks ago, that people are reassured that a mother will receive the life-saving treatment that is needed, then they will, and they have chosen, that they will prefer that to having abortion.
What response then would you favour personally, given that you've said you don't want to preempt the official bishop's response later today? Personally, what do you think the government should do?
I think the important thing is that abortion is not enshrined in the law of this country. We've seen the effect that introducing even very limited abortion has in any country where it has been introduced. And one of the concerns that was expressed yesterday was that the expert group don't seem to have even considered that possibility, although it is staring everybody in the face.
Well, they would say that they considered all the possibilities, that they looked at every angle here.
Well, manifestly they didn't, because for a start, they didn't follow their own terms of reference. They didn't follow the terms of reference in considering the ethical aspects of this at all.
Right. Are you hopeful then? Are you hoping that the government will ignore what they say?
There was no ethical expert on that group, even though they were asked to consider the ethical aspects of this, and they didn't. And as well as that, it appears from what the report itself says that the Minister for Health told them only to consider options within the constitutional framework. In other words, don't consider the possibility of a referendum even. Now, the earlier Green Paper in 1999, I think it was, the Constitution Review in 1996, they looked at all the options. This one chose a very limited range of options, and for that reason, we think that this report is somewhat flawed. And
just briefly then on that, given that you mentioned the word referendum yourself there, is that something that you would favour, another referendum?
Well, I think whatever is necessary to ensure that the life of the mother and the life of the child are both protected. Our position is not that one is more precious each than the other. Each has the right to life, each has an equal right to life, and we believe that in the current medical practice that it is possible to respect that right for both, and that is the best outcome, and that is the outcome which has given us the enviable position of having the best maternity care, or among the best maternity care in the world, and that, I think, is something we should be proud of.
All right.
And that has been, that the reputation of our health service and our medical people, nurses, doctors, has been maligned around the world because it has been said that that is not the case.
OK, we'll have to leave it at that. But thank you very much for joining us this morning. Dr. Leo O'Reilly there, who's the Catholic Bishop